All right, moving on to exercise 23-9. Glacier Bicycle Company manufactures commuter bicycles from recycled materials, and the following data for October are available. They tell us that the quantity of direct labor used, this is going to be our actual hours, is 5,000 hours. The actual rate for direct labor is $22.75 per hour. The bicycles completed in October are 800 bikes, and the standard direct labor per bike is 6 hours. So you can calculate out your standard hours. So standard hours for 800 bikes is going to be 800 times 6 hours per bike, or 4,800 hours. Okay, so we'll need that. So we've got our actual hours here, we've got the standard hours here for the 800 bikes. And then they tell us the standard rate for direct labor is $24 per hour. It says determine the direct labor rate variance, direct labor time variance, and total direct labor cost variance. Enter a variable. Variance as a negative number and unfavorable as a positive number. So we're going to look at this. This is very similar to our to problem exercise 23-8 that we just did. So again, I'm going to set it up like this. I'm going to have my actual rate times my actual hours and my actual rate was $22.75 per hour, and the actual hours used was 5,000 hours, and that equals a total of $113,750. I'm going to compare that to the standard rate, because remember, we're going to do the rate variance first, the standard rate. And the standard rate is $24 per hour. So we can see here already that the standard's $1.25 more than the actual rate. So this is going to be a pretty large favorable variance. And our actual hours, we compare it to actual hours because we're looking at the rate here. Actual hours of 5,000, and that's going to equal 120,000 even. So I'm going to compare these two here to get my direct labor rate variance. Right, so I'm going to take the $113,750. I'm going to subtract from that the $120,000. I'm going to get a negative number. It's a negative $6,250, which is a whopping favorable variance for my direct labor rate variance. Okay, again, we're usually paying lesser skilled or newer employees lower rates, so that may have an impact when we're looking at our time variance, right? So for the time variance, I'm going to look at what we have here, the standard rate times the actual hours of 120,000. I'm going to compare that by looking at the standard rate of 24 hours times the standard hours, which we calculated out to be 4,800. So we can see that we used more hours than we had them the standard for. We multiply those two together, it's going to come to $115,200. Remember here, when you're looking at your rate variance, you're going to use the same hours because we're really concerned about the rate difference, not the hours. When you're doing these variances, you have to have two items that, you have to have a single item that stays the same to make a good comparison. So you can see here again, we're looking at the rate, but we're looking at the difference in the cost for the total hours so that we can do the time variance. So here I'm going to do my direct labor time variance. So here we're looking at, we've got the 120,000 minus the $115,200. That's going to give us a positive $4,800. and that's going to be unfavorable. We can already see that total variance is going to be a favorable variance because our favorable variance exceeds our unfavorable variance by $1,450. So that's going to be your total direct labor cost variance, and the amount that you're going to debit for your direct labor is going to be $115,200. Okay? Because remember, we're looking at the standard rates. We find out everything after the fact. All right, and that's how you do exercise 23-9.